Okay, welcome to this week's edition of the PBA Experience at Interstate Bowl. Tonight we have a very, very special guest, Mr. Brian LeClair, the 2017 PBA50 Player of the Year, 5-time PBA50 titles. Brian, thanks for joining us. Appreciate you coming on.
You're welcome, Tim. Glad to be here.
Now, you're joining us from Spectrum Lane, correct?
Yeah, I'm currently in my hotel in Wyoming, in Grand Rapids, but we'll be bowling Spectrum starting tomorrow.
All right, getting ready for the next stop. Let's talk about your back-to-back wins on the PBA 50 Tour. You did that competing against some of the best bowlers in the world. Tell us how it feels to win back-to-back titles, and you led both of those tournaments.
Yeah, coming off last year with my serious knee injury that I had, I never expected to actually be back in the winner's circle. Earlier this year, I bowled the New Year's Day tournament, and I won that against the kids. And it's that point that I thought there's a chance that I could bowl good again. You know, I went through a lot of rehab last year and having to get a very expensive knee brace to wear, and it's helped a lot. And then to be able to lead back-to-back tournaments and win them from the number one position, to beat Pete Weber, to beat Sammy Ventura. I wasn't expecting to win one, but yet on two is very gratifying, and I'm extremely happy about it.
It's really an amazing feat that you did. Now, I understand, speaking of getting ready for your next tournament, that you don't participate in the tournament practice sessions. Tell us a little bit your philosophy behind that.
Well, number one, I've never been a big practicer once I got my game to where it should be. I know a couple things I need to work on, but the best way for me to always work them is during tournaments. The reason for that is the lanes break down so quick. The lanes break down different in tournaments than they do in practice. There's too many times where I would drill bowling balls based off practice, and those bowling balls wouldn't work. And then I'd waste the drilling fees. Even though we get them comped out here, we still have to pay for the drilling fees. And I'd be wasting money because the lanes would never play the same day to day. So what I do is I go in and watch people's break points, see where they're playing, get an idea where to play. And because there's 2 days of qualifying, if I need to make any adjustments for the second day, that's when I make my adjustments. But I never base them on practice day.
Yeah, I know a lot of times when I used to bowl tournaments, you would get a false positive during the practice session, think you've got lined up, and then when the tournament starts, it's completely different.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I've had more and more top pros recently come to me and say, Brian, I think you're doing it the right way. They say, because we're going out the first day and you're watching, you're not practicing, and you're doing pretty good, and we're struggling the first day. Ironically, though, I've been struggling the second day, and they've been bowling a lot better the second day. So I don't know why that is. I mean, the lanes always play a lot different the second day. The patterns always have a lot of oil at the end of the patterns. And when they run these high-tech lane machines down the lane, they seem to get cleaner and cleaner. And because the ratio of oil from front to back is pretty flat compared to old standards where they were tapered a lot more. As the week goes on, that taper becomes less and less, because I think the heads get even cleaner and cleaner with these high-tech machines. And then the oil seems like it's a lot longer down the lane, and it ends up in my break point. I always seem to struggle the second day with a lot of hang and have to figure out some secret release to get my ball to roll the right way.
Well, you really can't argue with the numbers with that kind of strategy. You bowled 11 events, 10 catches, 10 match play. So you just really can't argue with that.
No, I mean, it works for me. It doesn't work for everybody. It works for me. like I said, the adjustments, my biggest adjustments have always come on final day after struggling on the second round. I've led the first round a couple times this year and then struggled the second round where I barely made the top 8 to get the 2-round bye and then both really good on finals day. And I always think, go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, you've
I
always
always
been a
think
consistent bowler on both the regular tour and now on the PBA50 tour. What do you contribute to your consistency and success to?
Well, I've always been pretty versatile. I always say that I'm not real good at any one type of pattern, especially the patterns they use these days. My A game is non-existent. I don't get to use my A game very good, but I'm always been pretty versatile, and I observe a lot about who's bowling well, where they're playing the lane, where their break point is, and if you're versatile and you can hook the ball or you can play it straight or you can create a little bit more acceleration on the bowling ball or roll it more up the back, you should be able to compete week to week. But like I said, I've never been super good at any of the patterns that they've put out over the last 10, 15 years. My A game, I like the back ends to hook. The back ends never hook anything. It's always the front part of the lane that hooks because they put so much oil in the lane, and then everybody sands their bowling ball in the front part of the lane and hooks so much. I like the back of the lane to hook. So I don't get to use my A game, but being versatile, it has helped me week to week.
Well, Brian, the guys are getting ready to start practice. Again, I really, really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to join us, and best of luck to you in the future.
Thank you, Tim.